Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
No.
Ammo.
Okay. Now I will explain differentiation again here. Suppose you listen carefully. Already you know the equations of motion. V is equal to u plus at. Okay. When a body starts their motion with initial velocity u, uniform acceleration or constant acceleration a, after t seconds, if the velocity gained by the body is equal to v, then what is the formula for velocity? Means v is equal to u plus at. We can write now. V is equal to u plus at. Here u is the constant. U is the constant. Okay. Suppose if acceleration also varies with the time, acceleration is also not constant, then this formula is not applicable to find the velocity of a body at any time t, after any time t. Here in this formula is applicable. Not only this formula, we are having s is equal to ut plus half it square, v square minus u square is equal to 2s. Every formula, these formulas all are applicable whenever the body travel with constant acceleration or uniform acceleration. In this case only it is applicable. Suppose if acceleration is not constant, that means when force applied on a body is not constant, then acceleration is also not constant. When acceleration is not constant, in such case, after a time t seconds, what is the velocity means? It's not. This is not the formula to obtain the velocity after t seconds. If provided a is not constant, in such case, how we can do? In such case, how we can do? Such type of for such type of cases, we need the differentiation. We need the differentiation. Okay. Here, suppose after t seconds, they ask what is the displacement. Already we know if velocity of the body is constant, then s is equal to constant velocity into time is the formula for displacement. If velocity is also not constant, because whenever time lapses, velocity varies now here according to this equation. So in this case, we cannot write directly this formula. In this case, we cannot write this formula. So in such cases, in a small interval of time, suppose in a small interval of time dt, for the small interval of time dt, the velocity can be treated as constant. In such case, in a small interval of time dt, velocity into displacement gives small displacement ds. Small displacement ds. Okay, then suppose if you are given in a small interval of time dt, the displacement, a small displacement of a body is ds, then what is the velocity of a body means? Simply we can write ds by dt. Ds by dt. That means whenever the velocity is variable, which varies with the time, in such case, we cannot use directly velocity into time for displacement. So we should not use this formula. We should not use this formula. In such cases, first, in a small interval of time dt, what is the displacement we have to find? Okay, then from that we can write v is equal to ds by dt. It is called differentiation of displacement with respect to time. Differentiation of displacement with respect to time. Okay, so by using this formula, we can find the velocity of the body after any time t. Here, by using this formula, velocity of a body after any time can be found with the help of this formula. It is called differentiation of displacement with respect to time. Okay, from fundamental, we'll discuss the differentiation now. So what is the need of differentiation means? If any variable parameter is there, in such case, as v is variable with the time, so in such case, how we can displacement means we cannot use this formula. So in such case, how we can find the displacement means v is equal to ds by dt. By using that formula, ds we have to calculate. From that total displacement of a body in the time interval, we can find. Okay. Next, suppose acceleration of a body a is equal to. We know acceleration of a body means here velocity varies with the time now. In such case, how we can find the acceleration of a body means as v is not constant, then in a small interval of time dt, the change in velocity of a body is say dv. Then what about the rate of change in velocity of a body? dv by dt, no? So rate of change in velocity of a body or change in velocity of a body per second, this is equal to dv by dt. In a small interval of time dt, in a small interval of time dt. Are you hearing? In a small interval of time dt, the change in velocity is dv. The change in velocity is dv. Are you hearing clearly now? Okay, here you see, suppose y value depends on x. Y value depends on x. Then we can say y is the function of x. We know if y value depends on x, then we can say v is the function of x. Okay, Ganesh. If y value depends on x, then v is the function of x. Okay, therefore this can be written as y as the function of x means f of x. In mathematics already you know, in case of functions, if y value depends on x, then y can be written as f of x. Y is equal to f of x. Okay, so y is equal to f of x. Suppose if there is any change in the x value, here these two are two variables, x and y both are two variables. If the change in x value is say delta x, the x value increased by delta x. Now the x value becomes x plus delta x. Definitely y value also increases now or changes now. Suppose when x value changes from x to x plus delta x, then y value changes from y to y plus delta y. When x value increases from x plus delta x, then y value say increases from y to y plus delta y. Then instead of x, you substitute x plus delta x because x value becomes x plus delta x. Okay, due to that, the y value becomes y plus delta y whenever this x value is x plus delta x. That's why in this formula, in this equation 1, instead of x, you substitute x plus delta x. Instead of y, you write this one. So y means y plus dy delta y is equal to f of x means x plus delta x. Okay, now from this delta y is equal to, just you bring this y to right, you take this y to right, then f of x plus delta x minus y. Okay, delta y is equal to f of x plus delta x minus y. This is equal to f of x plus delta x minus y means f of x. It is delta y. Here, what is the change in x value? X value changes from x to x plus delta x. Then what is the change in value means? Delta x only, no? Change in value is equal to delta x, no? Therefore, you divide this equation with delta x on both sides. Then delta y by delta x is equal to f of x plus delta x minus f of x whole by delta x. Whole by delta x. Okay, now here this symbol delta y delta x just generally we use whenever there is a large change in x value and a large change in y value. Suppose if the change in x value is very small, then the corresponding change in y value is also very small. In such case, suppose if delta x is very small in this formula, then you write condition, you write delta x is very small. So delta x tends to 0, not equal to 0, but change in x value is very small. Change in x value is very small. So when delta x tends, that can be represented as delta x tends to 0. Here, whenever the change in x value is very small, but it is not equal to 0, that can be represented with the limit condition. So limit delta x tends to 0. This indicates delta x is very small. Okay. Then limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x. That is equal to limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x means you write this one. F of x plus delta x minus f of x whole by delta x. Okay, this limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x. That means in this formula, if delta x is very small, then this can be represented like this. Limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x. Simply this total can also be represented as dy by dx. Whenever delta x, delta y are very small, then this ratio can be represented like this. Instead of writing limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x, instead of writing like this in lengthy form, simply it can be written as dy by dx. That means dx is very small change in y value. Dx is very small change in y value, and dy is the corresponding small change in the dx is the small change in x value, and the corresponding change small change in the y value is dy. Then dy by dx is equal to this one. Therefore, dy by dx is equal to limit delta x tends to 0, f of x plus delta x minus f of x whole by delta x. Okay, here dy by dx, dx is a small change in x value and the corresponding small change in y value is dy. So this dy by dx can be written like this. Okay, what is the use of this one? I will explain now with one example. Okay, so here this dy by dx can be called as differentiation of y with respect to x. Dy by dx is called as differentiation of y with respect to x. Differentiation of y with respect to x. Here just I have written this one again. Here dy by dx is equal to, that is equal to limit delta x tends to 0, f of x plus delta x minus fx by delta x. I wrote the same formula here. Okay, in this formula, dy by dx means dx is a small change in x value, and the respective change in y value or corresponding change in the y value is small change in y value is dy. Then dy by dx can be called as differentiation of y with respect to x. If you write dy by dx, then that can be called as differentiation of y with respect to x, which is equal to this one. Okay, now how we can, what is the, how we can apply this to our physics? That is important. Okay, now one example I will explain so that you can understand very easily, and you know what is the use of this method, we can understand. Suppose if we see directly like this, we are unable to understand. If it is given like f of x plus delta x minus fx like that, we are unable to understand. We discuss one example. Suppose y is equal to, here we are given one formula 2x square, or y is equal to simply x square. We are having formula simple form we will take. So y is equal to x square is there. No doubt, if x value changes, y value also changes. If x value changes, y value also changes. That's why y is called as a function of x. So this is equal to y as the function of x means this can also be written as fx. If y value depends on x, then this can be written as y is equal to f of x, but that is equal to x square. That means if x value changes, y value also changes. Now, what is the differentiation of y with respect to x? They asked for this. For this function, what is the differentiation of y with respect to x means that can be written as dy by dx, which is equal to, you apply this principle, dy by dx is equal to limit delta x tends to 0. Tell me, f of x plus delta x means here it is f of x. F of x means like that we have to write, but f of x plus delta x means instead of x we have to write x plus delta x. That's why here f of x plus delta x means f of x is this one. F of x plus delta x means instead of x we have to write x plus delta x. So f of x plus delta x means x plus delta x. Instead of x only we have to write like this. Square is there. As usual you write square. Okay. Therefore, here next minus f of x. F of x means simply x square, no? So you write x square whole by delta x. So this is equal to limit delta x tends to 0. You expand a plus b whole square is there. It is just like a plus b whole square. Okay. So this is equal to a plus b whole square means a square plus b square means delta x square plus 2ab means 2x into delta x minus x square whole by delta x. Okay. Here delta x tends to 0 means delta x is very small value. Delta x is very small value. For example, delta x is equal to 0.01. Of course, it is very small compared with 1. Delta x square means 0.01 whole square. Then you will get 0.0001. No? If 0.01 is very small, 0.01 whole square can be neglected. Whole cube can be neglected. As delta x is very small according to this condition. According to this condition, delta x is very small now. That's why delta x square can be neglected. So in this formula, we can neglect this one. Minus x square plus x square we can cancel. So remaining is, this is equal to limit delta x tends to 0, 2x into delta x by delta x. Already delta x cancel. So directly no delta x term here is there. So you need not write limit condition. If delta x term is there, we have to write limit condition. As delta x cancel, we should not write limit condition. So simply we write x to x. That means here you see dy by dx means here this is equal to d by dx of y means x square. That's why d by dx of x square is equal to simply 2x. D by dx of x square is equal to simply 2x. How we have written? Dy by dx is equal to d by dx of y means x square. So dy by dx means d by dx of x square. So what is the answer we got? Here whatever the power here, we have written the power here into this function x to the power of. This power is reduced by 1. 2 minus 1 means 2 minus 1 means 1. That's why 2x we got. Similarly, you said for another function. Suppose we are having one more example I want to discuss. Here y is equal to x cube is there. Y is equal to x cube is there. Okay, then what is the dy by dx? That means differentiation of y with respect to x is how much? They asked. That is equal to d by dx of y means x cube. That means differentiation of x cube with respect to x. Okay, very good. Very good, Lakshmarana. Already he said the answer because I think he heard the evening class, or it might be completed to him. Okay, so d by dx of y means x cube. I have written. Now you apply the same principle. What I said here, whatever the power in the function, power first we have to write here into x to the power of. Power must be reduced by 1 means 3 minus 1. That is equal to 3x square. No, so dy by dx is equal to 3x square. Okay, that means here dy by dx means that is the change of y with respect to x. Change of y with respect to x, which is called differentiation of y with respect to x. Okay, so therefore d by dx of x cube is equal to simply 3x square. In this way, I said number of examples also. Okay, some more examples I will discuss. Next, example 3. Suppose y is equal to some constant a is there. A is the constant. Y is equal to some constant a is there. Okay, what is dy by dx? They asked. Dy by dx is equal to how much? This is equal to d by dx of y means a. Y means a. This is equal to d by dx of a into here. Actually, there must be a variable, but a is constant in this formula. Variable is not there. If variable is not there, can't we write like this? X to the power of 0 if you write. A into x to the power of 0 if you write like that. Is there any difference? If you write x to the power of 0, x to the power of 0 means 1. 1 into a, that's why a. Okay, that's why it makes difference, no difference, even you write like this. Okay, now as in this product, a is constant and here x to the power of 0 is the variable. Okay, that's why this constant can be written directly outside, because whenever constant is in multiplication with any variable, such constant can be directly written outside. So you write a outside into d by dx of x to power of 0. So that is called a into. Previously we got no, when you differentiate x square or x cube, then how we did write power 0 into x to power. Power must be reduced by 1. So 0 minus 1. So whatever the value you will get, 0 into something 0, no? That's why finally you will get 0. That's why differentiation of constant is always equal to 0. Differentiation of constant is always equal to 0. Here, suppose we are given in general y is equal to x to power of n. Y is equal to x to power of n is there. How we can write? So differentiation of y with respect to x can be written like this: d by dx of y means x to power of n. Y is equal to x to power of n. Just I have substituted. Very good. So this is equal to d by dx of x to power of n means what I said here previously. When x square is there, differentiation of x square with respect to x, how we did write? Similarly here also you follow. Whatever the power, first we have to multiply we have to take the power here. With this power we have to multiply the remaining function. As the power is n into x to power. Power must be reduced by 1. So n minus 1. Therefore d by dx of x to power of n is equal to n into x to power of n minus 1 we have to write. This is the most general formula. It is the most general formula. Okay. Suppose here y is equal to x to power of n is there. They asked what about dy by dz? They asked dy by dz. You observe one thing. Y is given as function of x. So far we have calculated the differentiation of that function with respect to x only. Y is given in terms of x, and we have taken we did the differentiation of y with respect to x. But here y is given in terms of x, but we are doing differentiation with respect to z. That means another variable. In this case, how we very good. Very good, Suhas. Okay, Suhas. Next, Dinesh. Very good. Dinesh. Okay. Here, d by dz of y means x to power of n. First, you do differentiation of x to power of n as here only. Power n is there. So n into x to power. Power must be reduced by 1, n minus 1. Into, actually, here d by dz, again, after we have written like this, then again we have to differentiate this variable with z. So d by dz of variable x. In previous case also we have to write like this only. But d by dx of x, you have to write d by dx of x. Dx cancel now. If you write d by dx of x, these two cancel. That's why I did not write here. But here it is another variable. That's why it will not be cancelled. Hence we have to keep like this only. Dx by dz. So this is the differentiation of x to power of n with respect to z. So this is also very, very important. Okay. So you remember these formulas. By using these formulas while doing the problems in kinematics, etc., definitely we can enjoy. Because with the help of these formulas, we have to do the problems there for advanced especially. Okay, it's very, very important. Next. Similarly, here y is equal to sin, next example, say 5, y is equal to sin x is given. Y is equal to sin x. Okay, then what is dy by dx? That means d by dx of y means sin x. Here, by using the fundamental formula, dy by dx is equal to limit delta x tends to 0, f of x plus delta x minus fx by delta x. We use the formula now. With the help of same formula, we have to do like this. But such type of derivations are not in our syllabus, because definitely such type of derivations are in our mathematics. Actually, it is mathematics topic. In mathematics, it is there. Suppose if you derive, for everyone, if you derive by using the general formula f of x plus delta x minus fx by delta x, our time does not permit. Okay, but just what formulas we need for physics, just I am discussing that only, and that up to that depth on, not derivations. Okay, definitely in mathematics, definitely sir will discuss everyone. Okay, so d by dx of sin x. So when you differentiate the sin x with respect to x, then you will get cos x. Similarly, d by dx of cos x, that is equal to minus sin x. Okay, d by dx of, these are all of the formulas. D by dx of sin k into x. Here in previous case, x coefficient, here x coefficient is 1 only, sin of x, that means x coefficient is 1 only, but here some x coefficient is there. In this case, as usual, first how we have differentiated this sin x with respect to x, and whatever we got, we have tried like this only first. So instead of sin, we will get cos. So cos, whatever the angle here, you write directly kx into, here not only x is there, like x, as x is here not x is there, but kx is there. We have to differentiate this again. D by dx of kx. K is constant, you can write outside. So you write here k into cos kx into d by dx of x. D by dx of x means differentiation of x with respect to x, that is equal to 1 only. So 1. Therefore, k cos kx. That means differentiation of sin kx with respect to x is equal to k cos kx. Similarly, now you say d by dx of cos kx. Now you tell me d by dx of cos kx. Whatever d by dx of cos kx, first cos function, when you differentiate cos function with respect to x, whatever the value you will get, you write directly minus sin, no, minus sin kx into, here coefficient of x is k, so you multiply with k, that's all. Therefore minus k into sin kx. Okay, in this way you will get, okay, minus k sin kx. Okay, most of the students did that one. Vikhyat, Karthik, okay, very good, Nana. John Williams, Ravi, you did write only k sin x. It's not k sin x, no, k sin kx. Okay, Aditya, very good. All of you did well. Right. In this way, you have tried. Similarly, whatever d by dx of tan x, whatever d by dx of tan x, d by dx of tan x is equal to secant square x, no? D by dx of tan x is equal to secant square x. Okay. In this way, we are having number of formulas. Already I sent the notes to you through WhatsApp group, our WhatsApp group. Okay, you go through them. Then you read the formulas today well. Here, when I ask what is the differentiation of tan x with respect to x, means immediately you should be in a position to say secant square x like that. So you read all formulas today. Okay. Next we will discuss. Now we discussed the formulas. So what is the advantage of this differentiation in our physics? I will explain 1 or 2 examples, and after that I will go to next topic, integration. Okay. Of course, maximum minima, next rate measure, these are also there, no? Right. Suppose one more example. The displacement of a body varies with the time according to the equation s is equal to some 2t square plus t minus 1, like that it is given. The displacement of in meters, the displacement of a body varies with time according to the equation like this. But it is not given that the displacement of a body in 10 seconds is 20 meters, like that it's not given. Displacement as a function of time is given. Then he asked, what is the velocity at t is equal to 2 seconds? What is the velocity of your body? They asked. At t is equal to 2 seconds, what is the velocity of the body? They asked. Okay, so here, as displacement, if displacement is not the function of time, s is equal to, suppose the displacement of a body in 2 seconds is equal to 10 meters. What is the velocity? They may ask. In that case, simply, v is equal to s by t directly. V is equal to s by t. Directly we can write. But here in that case, displacement is constant. It does not vary. Here displacement of a body in a particular time is given. But here displacement varies continuously with time. The displacement varies continuously with time. In this case, how we can find? Here you see, if displacement varies with time continuously, in such case, first we have to take in a small interval of time dt, what is the displacement of a body? Say ds, because s is given. If x is given, dx I would be written. Okay, so in a small interval of time dt, the displacement of a body is say ds. Then the velocity of a body v is equal to how much? Means ds by dt. It is called velocity of a body at any instant of time. But here they asked, what is the velocity of a body at t is equal to 2 seconds? We have to find. So d by dt of s means, you write this one, 2t square plus t minus 1. Just I have substituted instead of s, as we are given the formula like this, I have substituted this one. Okay, this is equal to, now we differentiate them. Here you split them first. D by dt of 2t square plus d by dt of t, we have to write d by dt of t minus d by dt of 1 is there, so you write 1. Now 2 is constant, you can write outside directly. 2 into d by dt of t square plus d by dt of t, the t power is 1. So 1 into t to the power of 1 minus 1 means t to the power of 0, 1. So 1 only. That means differentiation of t with respect to t is 1. Or differentiation of x with respect to x is 1 only, no? Or dt cancels, so 1 you will get. Minus differentiation of constant is always 0 with respect to any variable. Okay. Now this is equal to 2 into differentiation of t square means power 2 into t to the power of 2 minus 1. That is the fundamental formula. So t to the power of 2 minus 1 means 1 only, no? So this is equal to 4 into t. Therefore, velocity of a body at a time, at any time t is this one. So velocity of a body at t is equal to 2 seconds is how much? So 4 into, instead of t, you write 2. That is equal to 8 meter per second. Velocity of a body at any time t, at any time 2 seconds is equal to 8 meter per second. Velocity of a body at any instant of time means 4t. Velocity at a time t is equal to 2 seconds is how much? Means this one. Okay. Somebody got 9, that is not correct. Velocity of a body at a time t is equal to 2 seconds they asked. That's why it is equal to 8 meter per second we will get. Okay. Suppose 40 plus 1 you will get. Yeah, 40 plus 1. Plus 1 is there. Okay, sorry. Plus 1 is there. Here plus 1 is there, no? So plus 1. So you will get 9. Okay. So, very good. So 9 meter per second. So velocity of a body at any time, at a time t is equal to 2 seconds is 9 meter per second. In this way we have to find. Okay. Now, so this is the way we have to use the differentiation concept to obtain the physical quantities in our physics. Okay. Next, maxima, minima. Maxima and minima. Suppose we are given like this, x is equal to 2t square plus t minus 1, it is given like this. Then what is the maximum displacement of a body, or what is the minimum displacement of a body? They may ask like that. That is nothing but maximum minimum. How you can find maximum minimum? Okay. Already I explained with graph. Suppose we are given y as the function of x and y varies with x according to the graph like this. Y varies with x according to the graph like this. Here, in this graph, what is the maximum value of y? What is the maximum value of y? Means this is the maximum value. Here it is maximum value. Okay, it is maximum. And minimum value of this y means this is only the minimum value. Lowest point is the minimum value. So it is the minimum value. So whatever this value, we have to find. Of course, we will be given the relation between y and x. That y and x varies according to the graph like this. The relation between y and x will be given. The relation between y and x will be given, and they ask you to find what is the maximum value and what is the minimum value. Okay. So here, first of all, here you see this dy by dx is equal to slope, no? Suppose if you are given the relation between y and x, then if you find dy by dx, that gives slope, no? Previously, while discussing the graphs, I said delta y by delta x is the slope, no? Delta y by delta x is the slope. Similarly, dy by dx is the slope. Dy by dx is the slope. Okay, this is equal to tan theta, which is also equal to m, because in the given equation slope m is equal to tan theta. That is also equal to delta y by delta x, or we can write dy by dx also. Dy by dx means, here you see, slope is not constant. Suppose in this graph at any point, if you want to obtain the slope, here you see, at this point we have to obtain the slope on this curve. Slope of this yx graph we have to find at this point. So at this point, to this curve, you draw a tangent. Tangent is like this. Angle made by tangent with the horizontal, that is theta. Tangent of that value theta is the slope at this point. But whenever y value is maximum or minimum, maximum means at this point it is maximum. At this point, if you draw the tangent, then tangent is along this direction. At this point, if you draw the tangent, tangent is along this direction, isn't it? So the maximum value of y or minimum value of y, if you draw the tangent as it is horizontal, angle made by this straight line with x-axis is 0. That's why slope is 0. Slope is 0 means theta is 0 means slope is 0. That means dy by dx equals 0. That means whenever yx graph is given and what is the maximum value, minimum value, when they ask, first we have to find differentiation of y with respect to x. That means we have to find the slope of the curve. That means slope of the curve means dy by dx. That is called differentiation of y with respect to x. So this is a slope. Slope of the graph at maximum value of y or minimum value of y. That is 0, no? That's why you make them 0 for maxima or minima. First you make them 0. Then you will get, in terms of x, you will get one equation. When you differentiate this y with respect to x, you will get, in terms of x, you will get one equation and make them equal to 0. Then you solve for x. Then you will get x value. You will get x value 1, or you will get x value maybe 1 value or maybe 2 values. Suppose if you got this equation in terms of x as a quadratic equation, x square something, then you will get x value, 2 x values. If simply a straight line equation, you will get only 1 value of x. So whatever the number of values you will get here, okay? Now you will get x values. So you find the differentiation of y with respect to x from the given equation, because this graph is represented with the equation. Then you find differentiation of that y with respect to x, make them 0. Then you find x value. After this x value, again you already, suppose if you are given y is equal to f of x, okay, dy by dx means dy by dx is equal to differentiation of this y with respect to x is equal to something you will get, that is represented as f dash x. F dash x means differentiation of fx or differentiation of y. Okay, you will get one equation in terms of x, you make them 0. Then you will get a quadratic equation or some equation you will get. Then you solve for x, you will get 1x. Then to find, you will get the value of x. Then you find maximum value and minimum value. To find maximum or minimum, again we have to differentiate this equation with respect to x. That is called double differentiation, second order differentiation. Okay, here d by dx of, again we have to differentiate this one, dy by dx. That is equal to d of dy means d square y by dx means dx square. So d square y by dx square, it is called second order differentiation. Okay, you find second order differentiation, then you will get one equation. When you find the second order differentiation, you will get one equation here. Okay, now you substitute these values, you will get x values here. Now when you make this differentiation of y with respect to x is equal to 0, you will get x values. You substitute those x values in this equation. If you get x value, this d square y by dx square less than 0, then exactly at that particular x value you will get y value maximum. If you get this d square y by dx square value, when you substitute this x value here, if you get it is greater than 0, then you will get positive. Greater than 0 means positive. Here it is negative. Here it is positive. When you substitute the x value in this d square by dx square, if you get positive or greater than 0, exactly at that value, you will get minimum value of y. So how we can find the minimum value? Already we will given y value, no? So you substitute this x is equal something in this equation, then you will get maximum value or minimum value. Okay, already I say in our assignment, in your notes, already I given one example also. You go through that example so that you can understand this maximum and minimum. Okay, last one in this, rate measure. Last topic in this differentiation, rate measure. Of course, in last class, I explained different cases also, different examples also. Okay, but here as I am revising again, that's why briefly I am telling. So you go through your notes so that you can understand. Okay, now rate measure. Suppose the displacement of a body varies with time according to the equation 3t square plus 2t minus 4. Okay, rate measure means suppose in a small interval of time dt, because s is given as a function of time now. So in a small interval of time dt, the change in s value say ds. Then change in displacement in a time dt seconds is equal to ds. Then what is the change in displacement per second? That is called rate of change in displacement. That is called rate measure. That means rate of change in displacement, which is called rate measure. That is equal to ds by dt. All ds by dt means differentiation of s with respect to time now. That means we have to differentiate this equation with respect to time. What you will get? D by dt of 3t square plus s means 3t square plus 2t minus 4. So this is equal to, you differentiate them. In 3t square, first you have to differentiate. In 3t square, 3 is constant. So you write outside. Into differentiation of t square means power 2 into t to the power must be reduced by 1. 2 minus 1 means 1. Plus differentiation of this one. As 2 is constant is there, you write outside into differentiation of t with respect to time. Differentiation of t with respect to time means 1 only, no? Minus differentiation of constant is always 0. This is equal to 60 plus 2. It is the rate measure. That means it is equal to rate of change in displacement per second. That is called rate measure of the displacement. Suppose they may ask, what is the rate measure at a time t is equal to 1 second? They may ask. Rate measure at t is equal to 1 second. Rate measure of displacement. Rate measure of displacement at t is equal to 1 second. They may ask. Then that is equal to ds by dt. Rate measure means ds by dt. At t is equal to 1 second, they asked. Rate measure ds by dt is equal to 60 plus 2. Already we got 60 plus 2. At 1 second, you substitute t is equal to 1. Then 6 into 1, 6 plus 2. That is equal to 8. What is the unit? Rate measure means ds by dt. ds means meter by dt means second. So 8 meter per second. That is the rate measure. Very good, Suhas. Daksha, Suhash, Harsha, Yoganand. Okay, very good. Galaxy 850. One student name is Galaxy A50. Okay, Vikyat. Very good, Nana. All of you. Okay, keep it up. So this is the rate measure. Now this differentiation is over. For already I sent assignment also. The people who were absent on Saturday class, you have to do those problems today. Assignment problems you have to do. Okay, and you go through differentiation. You solve them. Already solutions are also there. So you solve them. And today you have to practice more on differentiation. Okay. Don't neglect to practice, because it is our life to solve the problems in physics. It is our life. Without this one, we cannot go ahead in physics. So very, very important. That's why I revised it again. Otherwise, I would not be revising this one, because it's very, very important. Okay. Next, integration. Very, very important. One more topic, integration. Of course, as integration differentiation, they are not completed in mathematics to you so far. For most of the people, they may feel difficult, but whenever integration differentiation topics will be completed in our mathematics, okay, for few people it may be completed who has taken coaching, some competitive exam coaching in 10th standard or from 8th onwards or 6th onwards. For those people it would be completed, but for the other people it is not completed. Okay, that's why for that people you have to revise again here. In mathematics already you are having differentiation and integration, of course not now, but whenever in mathematics these differentiation and integration they are completed, definitely you feel very easy. These are nothing. If you read these topics in mathematics, if you complete these topics in mathematics, these points are nothing. Of course at this time we feel we are great compared with you, but when you have studied in mathematics, definitely this is nothing in front of you when you know that when you have studied in mathematics. Okay, now integration. Suppose first I will say what is the importance of the integration, and after that I will say what is the definition of integration. Okay, here y value varies with the distance. Y value varies with the distance according to the graph like this. It is given like this. Y value varies with the distance, or y value varies with the x according to the graph like this. It is given. Suppose if it is a straight line directly, suppose if it is given like this, y value varies with x like this, then what is the area under this graph? Means from this end you draw a vertical line, already one end is at origin. So what is the area under the graph? Means the shaded part is the area of the shaded part is the area under the graph. No, area under the shaded part, area under this graph is equal to area of the shaded part. That is the area under this graph. So what is that area under the graph gives? What is the area under the graph gives? Come on, respond in chat box. Video is, I think video is clear only. Here video is clear only, no? I think that may be in our net problem, because I too observe the same video in Zoom app, but here it is clear. Okay, area under the graph means what? Okay, somebody responded y, xy or yx. Okay, y into x. Area is equal to y into x. How we can find? As it is a straight line, area under the graph means the shade area of the shaded part. Okay, that's why half base into height we can write now simply. But here it is curve. It is not given. It is not having any definite shape. In such case, how y value varies with x, that will be given. How y value varies with x, that will be given. Okay, now in this case how we can find the area? Suppose you take small element on the graph. You take the small element having certain length. Draw vertical lines from this ends of the element. Here this length is very small, dx. That length is very small. Okay, then area under this element means this only, no? Area under this element having length dx is equal to this shaded part only, no? Okay, area under this element, we on the graph we have considered a small part that is called an element. Okay, area under the element means from this two ends of the element you draw two vertical lines, then area bounded by these two vertical lines with x-axis, that is nothing but the area under the element. Suppose exactly at the point where the element is considered, at that point y value is equal to say y. Y value is equal to y. Then what is the area under the element? Now you tell me. This element is approximately in the form of a rectangle. Element is in the form of a rectangle. Okay, this length is equal to y, this width is equal to dx. Then length into breadth is the area, no? So y into dx. This is the area under the element. This is the okay, y into dx. This is the area under this element. Here, this in this way, from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to something. Here it is x naught. From x is equal to 0 to x is equal to x naught. This here in between graph and x-axis, we can imagine number of elements. No, this is one element. Here this is one element. This is another element. In this way, we can imagine from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to x naught. we can imagine infinite number of this type of elements from x equal 0 to x equal to x naught. Am I right? It is not trapezium, no? Trapezium means two sides must be parallel, which is here we have considered the small element, not total element. Small element means almost all it is a straight line only. It is rectangle. Okay, so from x equal 0 to x is equal to x naught, we can imagine this graph have infinite number of such elements. For each and every element, you find the area under the element. You see here one element you consider, you will another element, you find the area under the element like this, and you add all these areas. That gives the area under entire graph, no? Area under the entire graph, no? Here on this graph, we have considered 2 points very nearer to each other. These 2 points are very nearer to each other, and line joining these 2 points is almost all a straight line, horizontal line, very nearer points. We cannot identify those points. That's why very nearer. Hence, it is almost all a straight line. Okay. Then from these two ends of this element, I drawn vertical lines. As in order to show the graph here, I have taken the thickness of the element is large, but infinitesimally small element means thickness very, 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 very small. Okay, when you take such element having thickness very small, we cannot see even. But in order to show in the graph here to visualize this one, I have drawn with more width. Okay, that's why. So area under the element means y into tx. Our aim is we have to find the area between this graph and x-axis. But area under the element we have calculated, because directly we cannot find as here. That's why area under the element I have calculated. This type of elements we can imagine from x equal 0 to x equal to x naught. We can imagine number of elements. This is one element, this is one element. In this way, from this point to this point, we can imagine infinite number of this type of elements. Under each and every element, you find the area like by using this formula like this, and you add them. That gives total area under the graph. But is it possible to find area under infinite number of such elements? Infinity means itself is a assumption. Very large number of elements. So it's not possible to find directly. Okay, that's why here, suppose area under this first element is y1 dx1 plus area under the second element y2 dx2, y3 dx3, y4 dx4. Infinite terms we have to write. You add them. That gives the total area. But we cannot do like this. That's why instead of adding all these parts, simply you write integration of simply y into dx. Y into dx means area under one type of element. One element considered here. Y into dx means. Okay, this type of elements we had considered from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to x naught. From 0 to x naught, you consider number of elements and area under each and every element you find, and you add all of them. Whatever the value you will get. Instead of that, because it cannot be done like that. So instead of that, you find the area under one element, which is equal to y into dx, and this type of elements can be imagined from x equal to 0 to x equal to x naught. Then you do integration 0 to x naught. If you do integration between 0 to x naught also, you will get the same value. That's why we have to do integration. We have to do integration. That means integration gives the addition of this type of infinite number of terms. This gives this type of addition of this type of number of terms. That gives this integration value. That's why integration is simply nothing but a summation. Integration is nothing but a summation. I will explain in again one more point. It is just what is the importance of the integration I told. Instead of finding the sum of the infinite number of terms, first you find area under one element and you do integration. Integration means in sum of the areas of all elements, sum of the area under all the elements. Okay, instead of finding sum of the areas under infinite number of elements, just you find the area under one element and you have to add this type of infinite number of elements. Instead of doing so, just you write the symbol integration. If you do integration of this one, it gives the area under infinite number of such elements, which is equal to area under this entire graph, which is extended from x equal to 0 to x equal to x naught. That's why between these two limits, we have to integrate them. Okay, now this is the importance of the one exam. when we discuss some examples, definitely we can understand very easily. This is one example. Next, one more example, because we cannot believe that if you find integration of y dx, is it equal to the area under the graph or not? We cannot believe directly. With the help of the known example, volume of the sphere. What is the formula for volume of the solid sphere? Volume of the solid sphere is what? Respond through chat box. Anybody else? Volume of the sphere already we discussed, and of course you too know. Volume of this solid sphere, 4/3 pi r cube. Okay, very good. Volume of the solid sphere is 4/3 pi r cube. We know. By this method we will derive. We will derive now, so that you can we can believe that if you do integration, then that gives the answer. We can believe. So we will discuss that example also. Okay. So now integration means it is just nothing but summation of different terms, or it is quite opposite to that of the differentiation. It is quite opposite to that of the differentiation. We know y is the function of x. We know. Okay. Then what about the differentiation of y with respect to x? That can be written as dy by dx now. That is equal to d by dx of y means f of x. That means when you differentiate this function of x with respect to x, you will get the value that is represented with another function f dash x. So differentiation of y with respect to x is equal to this one, or dy is equal to f dash x into cross multiplication into dx. I think there is nothing wrong if you do like that. Okay. Dy means it is a small change in y value. Dx means small change in x value. Now we have to find the y value. Now we have to find the y value. To find the y value, just y means that is the total length. Suppose you say total length or total value. Dy means it is the value of the part of y. It is the value of the part of y. What is the total value of y means? This type of dy's can be added. Number of terms we have to add, so that it gives the total value y. Instead of doing so, just you do integration on both sides. Okay, then integral dy is equal to, you will get y, which is equal to integral f dash x into dx. F dash x means that is the differentiation of y with respect to x. So when you differentiate the function y with respect to x, whatever the value you will get, when you integrate that value, you will get the value before differentiation. When you differentiate the function y, you will get f dash x. When you integrate this f dash x, you will get again back the original value. That means integration is quite opposite to differentiation. Integration is quite opposite to differentiation. I think first of all, just you understood what is the integration, what is the differentiation. Integration is quite opposite to differentiation. You understand that one. Okay, now we have to verify. Here there are two types of integrations are there. Definite integration, indefinite integration. There are two types of integrations are there. Definite integration, indefinite integration. In case of indefinite integration, these limits, suppose this x value varies from x equal 0 to x equal to 5, or 2 to 5, 3 to 5, like that. If it is given, that is the definite integration. That is the definite integration. Okay. Indefinite integration means this type of limits are not mentioned. That is called indefinite integration. Okay. One example I will explain here. You see, y is equal to x to the power of n is given. Y is equal to x to the power of n is given. Then whatever dy by dx is equal to d by dx of y means x to the power of n. That means differentiation of x to the power of n with respect to x is equal to power n into x to the power of, this power must be reduced by 1. So n minus 1. You know. Okay. Now from this dy is equal to n into x to the power of n minus 1 into dx. Here you see, when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. When x is equal to x, y is equal to x to the power of n now. That means X value varies from 0 to x, then y value varies from 0 to x power of n. Now we differentiate them. Sorry, integrate them. You integrate this one. Here, this is the differentiation of this function. This n into x to the power of n minus 1 is the differentiation of y with respect to x. Now we are integrating them. Limits. X value varies from x equal 0 to x is equal to x. Okay, y value varies from y is equal to 0 to y value. Y value means x to the power of n. 0 to y, you take. Integral of dy means simply we have to write y. Integral of dy means y. Okay, limits 0 to y is equal to n is constant, you write outside. Integration of x to the power of n minus 1 means generally integral of x to the power of n dx means x to the power of this power must be increased by 1 by whatever the power you will get here, you have to write in the denominator. That is the general formula for integration. When you do integration of x to the power of n dx, that is equal to x to the power of n plus 1 by whatever the power you will get here in the denominator, you have to write that power. Similarly, you apply the same formula here. X to the power of n minus 1, we have to integrate. Then you will get x to the power of n minus 1 instead of whatever the power here we have written, plus 1 is there. So plus 1 by whatever the power you will get, you write here. Power is minus plus 1 cancels, so n. Limits 0 to x. Here you see, this is equal to n into n cancel, constant. This can be cancelled directly. So remaining x to the power of n minus 1 plus 1 cancel x to the power of n. Limits 0 to x. When you substitute instead of x, you first have to substitute upper limit x. Power n is there n. When you while substituting the lower limit, you put minus sign. Instead of x, you substitute 0. Therefore, here also first you substitute upper limit minus, when you substitute lower limit y, instead of y you substitute 0. So y is equal to x to the power of n now. I think you could understand now. Now you could understand now. Here, when you here n into x to the power of n minus 1 is the differentiation of y with respect to x for this function. When you integrate the value obtained after differentiation, you will get the value before differentiation. ఇక్కడ ఒక ఫంక్షన్ ని మనం డిఫరెన్షియేట్ చేసినప్పుడు వచ్చిన వాల్యూ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో దాన్ని ఇంటిగ్రేట్ చేస్తే డిఫరెన్షియేషన్ చేయడానికి ముందున్న ఫంక్షన్ వస్తుంది. సో when you integrate the value obtained after differentiation, then you will get the value before differentiation. That means from this it is clear that integration is quite opposite to that of differentiation. Integration is quite opposite to that of differentiation. Okay, so you remember this one. Here also same. Now you say integral x to the power of n dx means with the help of this formula only we have did this one. We got this one. That's why integral x to the power of n dx is equal to x to the power of n plus 1 whole by n plus 1. Okay, now we discuss some formulas. Today shall I take extra class? Today shall I take extra class? When I will take? When? At what time I will take? At what time I will take? 6 to 7. Okay. Today also I will take from 6 to 7. All of you be there because I will explain different examples. Okay. From 6 to 7 I will take extra class. I will ask the principal sir. If he gives permission, definitely I will take. Okay. It is for you only. Otherwise, I will say few examples and okay, this topic is over. In such a way, if I say you are unable to understand, okay, that's why, because we have to do more practice based on this differentiation and integration. That's why I want to take class. Okay. So most of the students are willing to listen the class from 2 to 3, I think. Okay, first you tell me how many students wants to take the class from at 2 o'clock. Raise your hands. You raise your hands. How many of you wants to take the How many of you wants to take the class at 6 o'clock onwards? Raise your hands. From 6 o'clock. Okay, most of the students willing to take the class at 6 o'clock only. Okay, I will take at 6 o'clock. Majority's law. Okay. Right. Here I will discuss examples. 1. Integral x to the power of n dx. We are here, if the limits are there, that is called definite integration. Suppose you are given integral x to the power of n dx from x is equal to 0 to x. As limits are there, it is called definite integration. Okay, this is equal to integral x to the power of n dx means x to the power, this power must be increased by 1 by whatever the power you will get, you have to divide with that one. Limits 0 to x, if you substitute, you will get same answer. Even if substitute limits 0 to x, you will get this answer only. Okay, it is the definite integration. Indefinite integration means suppose x to the power of n dx is there. Limits are not mentioned. That means between which limits this x value is extended, that is not mentioned. That is called indefinite integration. In such case, after here, what is the integration of x to the power of n? X to the power of n plus 1 by n plus 1. As it is, we have to write. As limits are not there, some integration constant plus c we have to write. If integration, this is called integration constant. If limits are not given, we have to write like this. If limits are given, when you substitute the limits from 0 to x, then you will get as it is x to the power of n plus 1 by n plus 1. This is the definite integration. It is the definite integration. Okay. Now I will discuss the definite integration only. Definite integration only I am discussing here. Okay. Next 2. Here integral x to the power of x square dx is equal to, tell me now according to that formula, integral x square dx. Okay, in 10 minutes that is enough to discuss different formulas. Integral x square dx means x to the power of, after integration the power must be increased by 1. That means 2 plus 1 by whatever the power you will get, you have to write in the denominator 3. That's why x cube by 3. Okay. Integral x to the power of 5 dx is equal to, now you tell me, x to the power must be increased by 1. 5 plus 1 means 6 by whatever the power you will get, you write in the denominator. Of course, limits are there because definite integration we are discussing. Okay, next, third one, integral 3x cube is there dx. In this case, as it is the constant, we can write directly constant outside the integration into integral x cube dx. That is equal to 3 into integral x cube dx means x to the power must be increased by 1 means 4 by 4. Similarly, fourth one, integral 1 by x dx is equal to integral 1 by x dx. Which function when you differentiate you will get 1 by x? Already I said integral d by dx of log x is equal to 1 by x. D by dx of, here we need not write plus c because we are discussing definite integration only. Limits are there. I said definite integration only. That's why limits I did not write, but limits are there here. That's why I did not write plus c like that. Okay. Right. What is the differentiation of log x 1 by x? The reverse process of differentiation means integration of 1 by x is equal to log x. Integral of 1 by x is equal to log x, because when you differentiate log x, that means you see here differentiation d by dx of log x is equal to 1 by x. That means differentiation of log x is equal to 1 by x. Already I said integration is the reverse process of differentiation. That's why integration of 1 by x is equal to log x. So integral of 1 by x dx is equal to log x. We have to write. Next, 1 by ax plus c dx is equal to, here also x function is there. Instead of x here, ax plus c is there. You write ax plus b. You write ax plus b is there. So you write log of ax plus b as it is first by whatever the coefficient of x here, you write in the denominator. When you do integration of 1 by ax plus b with respect to x, you will get as usual log of something. But here coefficient of x is not here. As coefficient of x is here a, we divide with a. Okay, if you do integration of this one, you will get this only. If you do integration of this one, definitely you will get 1 by ax plus b. You see, 1 by a is constant, you keep aside. Differentiation of log x plus b means 1 by ax plus b into a. A cancel. You will get 1 by x plus b, no? That means differentiation of log ax plus b is equal to differentiation of log ax plus b by a is equal to 1 by ax plus b, or integration of 1 by x plus b is equal to log ax plus b by a. You will get. Next, here integral of sin x dx, that is equal to minus cos x. Integral of sin ax dx. Sine function, when you integrate sine function, then definitely you will get minus cos of whatever the value here you write here. But coefficient of x is a, that's why you divide with a. Next, integral of cos x dx is equal to sin x. Okay, integral of cos ax dx is equal to sin x by a. Similarly, integral of secant square x dx is equal to which function when differentiated you will get secant square x? Array, I know you need not tell continuously, you need not show the live time to me. Already I know the time. Here time is also there to me. In the laptop time is already there. Definitely 4 minutes is there, I can understand. Okay, you need not mention. Okay. Okay, I will send all the formulas here. When which function, when you differentiate, you will get secant square x. Which function, when you differentiate, you will get secant square x. Tan x. When you differentiate the tan x value, you will get secant square x value. When you integrate the secant square x value, when you integrate secant square x, then you will get tan x. That means integration is quite opposite to that of the differentiation. Okay, when you differentiate tan x, you will get secant square x. When you integrate secant square x, you will get tan x. So whether answer obtained is correct or not, to check them. Again, you differentiate them. If you get this value, then this is okay, answer. In that way, we can cross check also. We can take the cross check also. Okay. So today evening, I will take extra class for this. So that we can discuss the number of examples. So you can understand what is integration, how we can do integration, and how it is applicable in our physics. I will discuss in the evening class. Okay, Nana. Have a nice day. Okay. Just I will send the material to you. Now, just after 10 minutes, you go through that material and just you read. Tomorrow, I will explain briefly and we will discuss number of examples. Okay. Definitely, you are having chemistry and mathematics, definitely. Okay, Nana. Bye. I am signing out.